G'day Beaks and Beaks to Bee. Are you curious about learning more about beekeeping? I have been a beekeeper for over 55 years and rearing queen bees since the 1980s. This is one of my bee sites. It only gets about 4 hours sunlight a day. If you look at these hives here, they're all different angles. I had them all facing outwards so you didn't get any bees inside here. That one there's spiking.
Oh yeah, yep.
So they can't tip them over. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning and we're going to start. What are they? These are two spacers that are put onto the arms of the hawks. This is the left spacer with a sleeve inside, so that the nukes will be lifted level rather than at an angle. During the hot months, I put spacers underneath the lids for extra ventilation. Here we're going to lift the two supers off at once, and we're going down to the brood super to find the queen and transfer some nurse bees into another hive. See how the spacers lift the nukes nice and level? Saves a lot of hassles. Just get that out the road. And look for the queen. We don't want the queen to transfer to the other nukes over yonder. It is considered bad practice in the TEK world of beekeeping to take your outside frame out first, as if the queen is there you can roll her in an instant and kill her. I always take out the second or the third frame depending on what size hives I'm working at the time. Nice solid frame of brood, no queen. Really another solid frame of brood. Can't see the queen. When I take the frame out, I'm looking down along that other frame there for the queen to see if I can see the white dot. No, cannot see it. See the queen? There is the queen with the white dot, so we know where she is in the hive. Oh, there's more bees in there than I thought there was. Not a lot. We haven't got them all the way across. It'd be easier to try and find a queen to mark and clip her. Generally 30 days after the cell is placed, I check for the nuke for the queen to be laying, and a further 30 days after that I mark and clip all my queens. The left side is for odd years, the right side is for even years, so that if the markings happen to come off, I can still tell whether the queen is a new queen or my red queen. It's a new queen, so she's a 2019 queen. Just cut a little bit off the left wing. I use a white correction marker with a fine tip for marking all my queens. There she is marked. Queen cage, tip the queen cage up because you walk uphill all the time. Squeeze all the frames back together again. By having all the frames firmly together, burr comb and drone comb is reduced considerably. And so we'll release the queen. There she goes. And because the temperature is getting down, we're going to put a brood rearing mat, and then I put the excluder on. The whole reason for the brood rearing mat to go on is to keep warmth in the brood super so that they'll keep rearing bees during the colder nights. Yeah, what is it? It's a piece sheet of fibro for putting underneath the nukes so that we can supply nurse bees very, very quickly. The sheet of fibro is placed just underneath the front entrance. Right, so we've got a couple of frames of brood out of the other strong nuke without the queen. Right, So we're going to shake these bees here. Any worker bees will fly. These are worker bees that are flying. The rest are nukes, and they'll all go into this hive here. So we're putting these frames of brood back into this nuke, whereas all the nurse bees have gone to the other hive to equalise. See all the nurse bees that are walking into this nuke. They do not fight because the orientation flights haven't been completed, and any bees that fly, they've completed their orientation flights and they've flown back to the original hive. So these nurse bees here, even though there's a lot here, they will not fight. They'll just walk in and be accepted. Equalising of nukes, that's the simplest and easiest way of doing it. Saves a lot of hassle. This nuke here just lost about 3,000 nurse bees. So the reason for these blocks on here is to give the hive extra ventilation in these hot days. So we might just take these off here, because we're about 6,000 nurse bees lower.
5 minutes later and all the nurse bees are inside.
We're checking this hive here. It was upgraded to a 10-frame production hive, and couldn't find the queen in the 5-frame nuke, so we're going to give it another go to find the queen and mark her.
This queen has been reared by the emergency method.
So they're not stuck, and I pick out the 2nd or the 3rd frame. Never pick out the outside one, because the queen could be out on the outside frame, and there could be burr comb there and you could kill the queen in an instant. See if we can get a close up here, just that area there. Alright. See the pinhole, see the little pinholes there? That is healthy brood. We've got another one over here. Whenever you're looking at your brood, you always check for pinholes. There's a couple here. Another one there. It's white pearly larvae, so that it's not diseased, hasn't got any disease. Good solid brood with a little bit of honey at the top for this time of the year. Looking for the queen. This is all laid up. This is total eggs. So the queen may be in this area here somewhere. Total seal brood. So I'll put that one to the outside wall. It's a fallacy, they say, to put the frames back in the same position. I've never put the frames back in the same position in over 50 years.
I dare to be different.
This is all eggs, and over 3-day-old eggs that are hatched, and the bees are feeding them. I haven't found the queen yet. This is not a good frame in the brood super. You can see all this drone comb here, but different times of years beggars can't be choosers, so it gets used. You notice that I've used very little smoke. You use a lot of smoke and you chase the queen. There's the queen. Alright, there's your queen, a beautiful big Italian hybrid Carniolan queen. Now this particular queen is a 2018 queen, so we clip her on
The right side, and that's for even years.
and we'll mark her. I only use white. I don't use international marking colours. I've been using white for the last 40 odd years. So I put her in the queen cage and you can work your hives 10 times quicker. Tip it up, queen goes up, you haven't got to worry about her going out or falling out. Put the queen in the cage on the landing board and you can work your hive 10 times quicker. So now we'll reassemble the hive. I always make sure that my eggs and unsealed larva or pupa is in the centre of the hive. We've got one frame here that's got a little bit of honey in it for warmth. They've started putting honey in the outside frame because winter's coming on. Like I say, because we've found the queen, we can work the hive 10 times quicker. Not worry about killing the queen. After the frames are fitted, squeeze all frames tightly together. So this is the queen excluder. I use queen excluders in all my production hives so that the brood super is compact and the queen does not lay up above in the other supers. It's above the brood box. All you get up above is honey that's got no brood in it. You can take it off at any time. Now that we've finished the hive, we get the queen cage and we release the queen. There's the queen going in, a beautiful big hybrid queen.
This particular steel excluder
should be removed. I'll be removing it next trip down here and put a fresh one on that is totally cleaned. This one needs to be cleaned so that ventilation can be correctly obtained by the bees.